Already teams like Big Brother watching out from the from the edges as a few more finishes secured, but Hyderabad Hydras still in a whole world of problems.
Somewhere I feel that Hyderabad Hydras can come out in flying colors in case they just go in with the instant reply coming in. We'll understand much better. They've taken the vulnerable van at this point of time. So this is OR trying to, push in towards the side of 7Cs at this point of time. That's Walkout eliminating another one as well. So OR Jelly knows a vague idea of where the opponents are, but gets traded off, and due to which, he's kind of vulnerable at this point of time. Only 2 men standing for the side of OR as more shots is going to be fired in towards them.
OR. The flow was absolutely lava. Did have to lose out on 2 of their star players, the IGL and Aditya, who's been racking up so many finishes, but still some glimmer of hope in form of Atanki, and Aru prevails as Dragon completely oblivious about Aru's position. Had to be traded off, but this is not good news. Atanki needs to enter inside cover with Aladdin making a push. This is going to be so bad for OR Esports as they're instantly going to resort to the revive, steps away from it as Aru knows he's got a fight to pick against Aladdin with his arms discharging at his direction. Has connected a lot of shots, but still hasn't quite succeeded in getting the finish. But it is going to be someone from elsewhere. It's going to be Goblin from Seoul who puts the final nail in the coffin, and Team OR Esports, they've been eliminated pretty early as Goblin also has been traded.
Now this is the time where 7Cs has to make sure that they clear things off as Saran comes in a bit more closer, ends the game for the side of Goblin as well. Now 7Cs, I really didn't understand how Spray God went in for that, right? He lofted the grenade in another room, but rather entered the one which he didn't choose to, clear off. If the grenade had come in perfectly, the story would have been different, as this is the moments where, 7Cs struck really hard against the side of Team Soul, and that Goblin, the man was trying to rush in and make sure that he leaves a big mark towards them, was also getting taken out because of Saran coming in at the right time and striking the up. That shows that Team Soul is left out with one last man who probably will be playing for placement points.
Hector, the solo survivor for Team Soul, he's done this in the past as well. Every single player knows how to put off a show, but for now, Team Soul making some big mistakes, resorting to vehicles in inside the cities. It was bound to happen, it was bound to flip, but for now, Walkouts having that higher ground advantage will not let anybody close to them, pushing back every single team out here as Fierce already bleeding on his knees. Now they instantly redirect their attention. We've got another fight with the MG Foul Killer going up against ACBC, gets taken down, but Tosi, the last survivor, also gets knocked out as 2 other players are somewhere else, as the last solo survivor for Team MG is going to be none other than Dionysus. I think it's for the 99th time he's going to survive and still rack up some position points for their team.
Now let's see whether that's going to be the case today, because ultimately I can see that ACBC are persistent on getting this final finish for themselves, where they almost detect him. Yes, they do. Capron has an idea. He wants to rush in when the time is right. He does strike perfectly with the jiggle when required. I really love the way he just came out and made sure that the opponent is going for a pre-fire, and when he stops is when he comes out and strikes. Now Hector on the other side knows exactly where the opponents are trying to loft a grenade, but revealing his location at this point of time, putting up some smokes to make sure that, it's just a deception coming in with that smoke. But ultimately 7Cs are going to cook up and make sure that's a carpet bombing going on and trying to get this player off the map. It's going to be much more easier for them if so.
Hector, I mean, he's been quite notorious, hasn't he? But for now, 7C finishes strong. We've been talking about them, finally getting that drafts a little higher. They have not been shying away from taking battles and have been on the winning side of things as Yuva. Some beautiful reflexes shown by this lad as Walkouts, being the king of the hills, are trying to disorient every single team around them. As we wait in line for our next shift to happen, as Big Brother have put some massive spread to themselves, as now Walkouts, they're also being spotted out. Some heavy fire as the circle kills and chips away towards ACBC, out of which, Hellgod wanted to capitalize, but in turn, it's going to be Evil Sky from above who gets the knock.
Now ACBC versus BB is inevitable as both of them wants to hold the high grounds, and we all know that they're going to be meeting up any second soon. But at the same time, ACBC, I don't know how Walkouts are going to be taking this fight, because they're just concentrating on the side of 7Cs at this point of time. They have Team Soul right below them, right? So there's one free finish which is lying right below them. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to be worrying about it. They're going to rather prioritize the zone and just make it inside it. But on the other side, Mr. Spree says sees some smoke, and that's why he wants to tag them out, as it's going to be Ben OP, BB Zeno OP, who's going to be doing a little bit of a damage against the side of 7Cs, and Aladdin is cooking up a grenade. If that connects, that's going to be a finish point for them eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely would be, right? Considering how Walkouts, they still have a very good spot, but ACBC, they're the favorites to win this battle round, right? Made the perfect rotations at the right time, practically thinking the circuit's gonna rotate like this as Hector, off to his mischievous ways yet again, does let loose of all those bullets. Has his position compromised as 7C now realize they get into the periphery of the circle. Savita somewhere down the line, he's going to look back, but has his attention diverted elsewhere as Beard Baba does have all the smoke trying to protect him, as Hector spotting out Aladdin, but has it been reciprocated in the same manner? No, as he's still going to be creeping in, slithering through, but now Hector has somehow made his team go up to the top 5 position all by his lonesome and carrying the burden of Team Soul on his shoulders.
Yep. This is where I really want to see whether some grenades are going to connect, because this is the moment of truth for the side of BB, as well as they're going to be lofting in perfection. Savitar almost gets it, but it's just surviving by 1 HP for himself. The second one is also going to be going in the same direction, and in case this connects, it's going to be the beginning of the end for the side of 70s, as they had to make it inside the circle. Somehow these dunes are just helping all these reptiles have to make it inside the circle. They're going to be, you know, crouching, crawling, everything possible at this. And on the other side, Mr. Spray is not going to stop as he puts down the side of ACBC Capron, and 7Cs at this point of time looking really strong with the 11 finishes.
Everyone's scratching and crawling their way to inside the circle somehow or the other. Now Hector resorting to a healing battle, knows that could meet his makers any moment from now, as Walkouts have sent someone, have sniffed him out, maybe still in on the lookout though. But Hector does not really care. Spots everyone around him, just waiting for that last first hit to get finished off. So he makes that last stand, that the last move, as you are getting the better out of screen over in that situation, as he's going to be screaming for some help, as Hector finally comes out of cover just to get eliminated. The 5th position is all he could take Team Soul to, as Walkouts instantly redirect their attention to the team that had the best position inside the circle, but not anymore.
Now it's going to be ACBC versus the side of Mr. Spray. That's going to be Walkouts. But at the same time, I'm able to see that, you know, 7Cs have placed themselves inside the circle. They're like, we have done most of the hard work. Let's just wait it out. Let's wait for the others to, you know, fight out. And when the time is right, that is when we're going to strike. As Rain, the last ray of hope for the side of ACBC, is just going to wait it out over there. Wanting that Walkouts is going to be running inside the circle anytime soon, as the chances of getting this winner chicken dinner is going to decreasing, as he's taking a big risk over here to go in for a heal battle rather.
I mean, for now, ACBC having such a good vantage point and could not really make anything out of that game. But 7C, they have definitely dug in deep pretty much, especially considering the situation they were in. Had to fight it through and still have their players alive. Raid, the solo survivor, finally finds Yuva. Does manage to take a few shots though, but it is going to be another of his teammate chiming inside the battle. Sliver of HP. Almost wanted to clutch it out, but Walkouts have to cut on their losses. Have to make a move inside the circle, as Big Brothers wait for them in broad daylight. Just waiting to bounce at their direction. There you go. Mr. Spray already picked off with the grenade already tossed, and there it goes. Is it all she wrote? As Beard Baba still alive though, but has to get the better out of 2 of the players. Still resigns from taking any shot. Will still move forward ahead, as now 2 of the players completely oblivious about his presence, but still regardless, Big Brother Esports coming in with that big chicken dinner. As ladies and gentlemen, we head into the post-match segment powered by Loco, and what a game of Miramar
I mean,
has
we,
it been.
we were just looking at one man from ACBC, but on the other side, Big Brothers just come in like a ruthless, I would say, pack of wolves to be specific, and taking down the side of 7Cs first, and then concentrating on the side of Walkouts where they almost had it done, and they're going to be happy with this 29 points, winner chicken dinner for themselves. 7Cs on the other side is also going to be happy that finally they're coming in the first 3 places of getting 19 points for themselves. Walkouts on the other side, it's just the placement points because of the terrain they were holding. I knew that, they had more capability of getting more finish points, but it's just that, ACBC, they concentrated too much and invested more time on them.
I mean, yeah, of course, I would agree with what you just said, because at a certain point when the circle kind of shifted a little north, right, that is where we had the curveball striking in. That is where all the teams wanted to try and take over the hills. That is where teams like Seoul, teams like 7C still had their money placed on the circle, taking a circle towards the southern side. But regardless